Hello everyone, Loremaster of Sotek here with a very, very exciting video for all you guys. I know everyone is just completely over the moon, hyped for this game, this DLC, the Silence and the Fury, and it is hot and so much fun. There's a ton to talk about. Today, I'm only really allowed to share free LC information with you guys, but that is more than enough to really showcase just an insane amount of changes. Obviously, there are some other FLC things that I cannot show off in this particular video, but I will be showing off later today in a live stream, which include the new Ogre units, the Ogre Mercenaries. There are now Ogres as a race in Total War Warhammer 2. It's not the Ogre Kingdoms, just Ogre Mercenaries. But, you know, super duper excited to show them off and later today. And also the Great Break Shaman, which we'll be showing off later today in a Beastmen campaign. However, real quick, what I wanted to do first was go through all of the changes that I have found in the game. And there are a significant amount of changes. And I know you guys love that stuff. You know, you like to take a screenshot, post it on Reddit. That's cool. You know, make sure to give credit where you found it. Let people know to come check out the video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into all the different changes to a lot of campaigns. I bet there's some changes you're not going to expect and many of my fellow creators will have missed. Maybe, I don't know. But let's go ahead and dive into it. So first thing we're going to start with is a group of cold Northmen you may not have expected. Alright guys, and welcome to Norsca. The big thing that's changed with the Norscan characters is that both Throgg and Wulfrik the Wanderer have received their unique lore trees, which you can see here, and I'm just going to go over them really quick. We're going to be trying to move fast because there are other things I need to get to. So yeah, let's get to it. So first we've got King of Trolls, which gives you public order local province, plus 12 leadership for all monstrous infantry, and minus 10% upkeep for all monstrous infantry, which stacks with the faction bonus for Throgg. So he has very cheap trolls now. Primordial Might lets you vomit an extra 3 times, because apparently you eat something really bad, and it gives you plus 15% weapon strength. Fantastic. Mutant Regeneration. This one, in my opinion, is the biggest winner. This is an amazing skill. It gives 10% additional missile resistance for all trolls, regeneration for Famir, and then gives skin wolves and troll units horrible regeneration, which resurrects dead combatants, which means you're basically playing vampire counts with your trolls and skin wolves when you're playing as Throgg. So as long as the battle is still going, you can see here that it notes that it's disabled if the battle outcome is decided. As long as the battle's still going and your guys are regenerating, you resurrect dead models, which is fantastic. Monstrous Fiends gives you 8 melee defense for all trolls, Famir, and skin wolves, and then Frenzy for all trolls and Famir, which is fantastic. Dread Retainers I'll show off in a moment, and then the last one you get is Age of Beasts. And the Age of Beasts lowers the global recruitment time by 2 for all troll, Famir, and skin wolves faction-wide. It gives the Chilling Aura passive to Throgg, so he slows down everybody around him constantly and makes him terrifying. So absolutely fantastic. But of course I've got to show you off these new retainers. So when you put a point into that new retainer skill, it'll give you one of these retainers, and once you have all 3 points, you get all 3. The first one, Skin Wolf Stalkers. So you assign these to units. The Skin Wolf Stalkers give a Skin Wolf unit 45% bonus speed. The Wayfarer skill, which lets them accelerate and decelerate 200% and gives them Strider, so they get up to max speed and then like can change the direction they're moving or stop really fast. And it also gives them Stalk and Unspottable, so you get lightning fast, invisible skin wolves. Hilarious. Famir Line Breakers get the Rattled effect, which the Rattled effect is that when you hit someone in close combat, I want to say it lowers their melee defense and something else. But it also gives a plus 50 bonus to charge for that Famir unit and grants them the Vicious Assault skill, which gives 5 melee attack to nearby allies. Amazing. And then my favorite are the Troll Guardians. So the Troll Guardians, you select a troll unit, it makes them unbreakable, plus 12 melee defense, expert charge defense, and the Guardian passive. So you can have a bodyguard troll unit for Throgg. Isn't that just amazing? Oh, I absolutely love it. I don't believe any of the traits or faction abilities changed. So with that, let's head over to Wulfrik. Alright, welcome back, and now we're hanging out with Wulfrik, who you may note in his unique tree, he's actually had a little bit of stuff moved around. Hunter of Champions is now up here, which at rank 12 just gives you the basic Hunter of Champions ability. I think it used to be at the end of your melee tree, but now it's up here. Then he has the following new skills. Juggernauts of the Sarl gives Worm Piercer ammunition for all Javelin units, which Worm Piercer ammunition is significant anti-large. It also gives extra bonus versus large for all Marauder Hunters, Marauder Spearmen, and Marauder Cavalry. So it makes you very, very good at dealing with large units wherever that you may be in the world. World Walker gives you an extra 2 uses for Sea Fang, which is fantastic. You're immune to all forms of ocean attrition, and you get plus 10% campaign movement. Great. Gift of Tongues, minus 5 leadership to all enemies in your region, and allows Wulfrik to cause terror. That's pretty good, especially when you're building up to the Mammoth. Maybe not a take always, but you know, that bonus leadership or leadership debuff never hurts. Echoes of Ambition, minus 15% upkeep for all units. Mwah! Beautiful. And then he gets very, very cheap construction cost and very fast construction time whenever he's in a local region. Once again, that's good depending on what kind of game you're playing. And then the Eternal Challenger, which is very strong, gives him perfect vigor, makes it where Wulfrik heals 50% faster from damage, which is great, and then upgrades the Hunter of Champions. So instead of slowing people, now it roots them in place, which is just absolutely fantastic. I don't think it's quite as strong as Throgg's new abilities, but I mean, Wulfrik's already a really, really good character, especially when he gets up on a Mammoth. So I think it suits him very, very well, and it's just nice to see a little bit more personality. All right, let's head south and check out another man of interest. Welcome to the Cult of Sigmar changes. Unfortunately, Volkmar is still in Altdorf, but despite that, he has been up to some good shenanigans. First of all, you'll see that his faction has a new set of traits, which is amazing. At least I'm pretty sure these are new, where he's got a 33% cooldown reduction to all battle prayers and the accusation ability on witch hunters, bonus versus infantry for flagellants, empire knights, and free company militia, +4 recruitment rank for witch hunters and warrior priests, and a 20% chance higher to find magic items. Then for his trait, the Grand Theogenist, he gives +4 public order in his local province, and then physical resistance for flagellants, empire knights, free company militia, and he also gives them melee defense. So he's really, really good for those lower tier starting units. But then check out this sexy improved skill tree. So the biggest things that they added for him, obviously he still has all his prayers, and it builds up to second nature, which gives you that 50% cooldown reduction, which is on top of the cooldown reduction he already gets for his faction. But then he's got his actual new unique tree. So first, he's got Mere Mortal Men. Mere Mortal Men gives Blessed Bullets to all free company militia, which gives them magic and armor-piercing projectiles, just like the Regiment of Renowned Handgunners. Plus 40 diplomacy with all humans, so the Empire, Kislev, and Southern Realms. And then Frenzy for all free company militia. Man, they're making free company militia like... They're like, hey, look how good these guys are now. Once you've unlocked that, you can have the War Eternal, which gives Wayfarer for Flagellants, Empire Knights, and Free Company Militia, which gives them that extreme acceleration, deceleration, and also Strider, so they're not slowed down by terrain. Plus 20% base speed for Flagellants, Empire Knights, and Free Company Militia, and also plus 10 charge bonus. So it used to be that he was purely about buffing Flagellants, but now he's all about Flagellants, Empire Knights, and Free Company Militia. Tools of Absolution gives flaming attacks and plus 3 armor piercing to all units in his army. Fantastic. Blessed Holy War gives plus 10% success chance for all warrior priests and witch hunters faction wide, improves the capacity, and improves untainted for all characters faction wide. Fantastic. And the work of God, which gives 20% casualty replenishment and strength of the penitent. Which strength of the penitent gives all units in your army, if they are losing melee combat, 14 melee defense and 15% physical resistance. He is tank! So tank! Just all the tankiness, just infinite tankiness. So yeah, Volkmar was already really good, and now he's just absolutely even sexier than before. Also, the Blessed Holy War, War Eternal, and the Work of God have also been altered on the traditional Arc Lector to make them, you know, better. Alright, moving on. Another thing, we're stopping by Sylvania really quick just to check in on a new hero that they've actually added to the starting campaign. If you're playing as either Helmund Gorst or Manfred von Carstein, as, you know, the traditional vampire counts, they have added a new hero that you start with named Kevin von Lloydstein. And I did want to draw some attention to this because A, it's interesting, and B, this character was essentially added as a memorial, I guess, or a nod to a member of the CA staff who unfortunately passed away. So you can see that here, that it says, he who is gifted the means to conquer his own mortality can live forever. And obviously seems to be named after Kevin Lloyd, but they, you know, or they vampire counted-ized his name to make him fit a little bit. And here's his starting trait if you're interested. He gives you 5% upkeep reduction for your entire army, 5% research rate faction wide, and he is immortal. Which is a really, really nice, it's a very, very nice nod to Friend. And it's somber and a little sad, but it's nice that he can live on through this, I suppose. I thought I was done with the vampire counts, but then I realized apparently they did alter Isabella just a little bit. So her skills, she had like a ton of skills that were kind of all over the place, but it looks like they've kind of much more neatly organized them into a character tree. So just real quick to show you what they've kind of reorganized it. You have Midnight's Children, which is leadership and melee attack for all of your bat units, land and flying bats. At Dawn They Sleep, which gives the hunger for direwolves and fellbats, which is regeneration close combat and also gives them armor piercing. Court of Blood, which makes it cheaper to recruit vampires faction wide, gives you more capacity and improved corruption. Ravening Beast, which gives a cooldown reduction to the Red Fury and Bloodlust battle skills, which is these, for all vampire characters, or all characters faction-wide, and then also reduces the Vigor loss for Isabella's army. Storm of the Night, which is the Von Carstein ability that was originally on the Von Carstein Lord, which summons the giant vortex that hurts flying units. And Time of a Rising, which makes her attacks cause discourage, which lowers leadership, gives 30% speed to all direwolves, fellbats, vargals, vargeist, terrorgeist, and also gives them Wayfarer, which means they have Strider and can accelerate and decelerate very, very quickly. Great, awesome, moving on. So just as I saw with Isabella, Vlad also had his skill tree significantly cleaned up because there was just a lot of mess. So now for Vlad Von Carstein, you have Cloud of Horror, which gives Vlad 15% bonus speed, 10% bonus campaign movement, and gives him Strider, so he's actually significantly faster than he used to be. Covenant of Undeath is your unit experience faction-wide and local armies. Mesmerizing Aura buffs your aura of Dark Grandeur so that instead it actually lowers enemy melee attack on top of what it already did. It also makes Beguiling minus 33, I wonder if that's minus 33 seconds or 33%, but it makes Master of Beguilement faster to cast, and also makes it where enemy hero action success chance against you is much lower. Mortal Levies gives you plus 40 diplomacy with the Empire. Whoa, that's super cool. Plus 15% range for Sylvanian crossbowmen and handgunners, and plus 15% missile strength for those units. That is absolutely fantastic. I love that. Storm of the Night gives him that Von Carstein thing, which he should have, and then Monstrous Strength, which gives plus 10% weapon strength and plus 5 base weapon damage for his entire army, and also gives Vlad armor sundering attacks. That is absolutely amazing. I completely love that. I really hope that they make Isabella a legendary hero for Vlad at some point, or maybe design it where like one can be a legendary hero for the other instead of them both being legendary lords. I hate them both being legendary lords. It's stupid. But in any event, that's going to be it for Vlad. That's going to be it for the undead. Let's go check in on the Dawi. Hello everyone, and welcome to the new and improved Dwarf campaign, which is substantially different. There are so many changes to get through. I'm just going to be going through this as fast as I can, try and keep up. So the first new big change that you may notice is that the grudge system has been altered to actually be meaningful and interesting. So there are 5 tiers, which there may have been before, but now the tiers actually do things. If you are at extremely satisfied in that you have no grudges, you have plus diplomacy with all dwarfs, plus a significant bonus to research rate, public order faction-wide, and a low chance to get free slayers in your regiment's of renown pool. As you go up, you notice the penalties shrink, but when we get to grumbling, you have a moderate chance to gain slayers. If you're angry, you take penalties to research rate, diplomacy, and public order, but you gain charge bonus to all your armies because they're pissed, which is hilarious, and you have a high chance to get slayers for free. And then at the max tier, you take significant penalties to research, public order, and diplomacy, but you get a 15 charge bonus to all of your armies and have a very high chance to generate free slayers. So it's actually not necessarily a bad thing at all if you are at high being in trouble. You actually might prefer that if you just want to hit hard in close combat. It's better for your empire to have no grudges, but it's better for your fighting to have too many grudges. Speaking of grudges, they have reworked the Book of Grudges, where I think it actually fits more grudges in on a page than it used to. But here's something really cool they did. They added in a unique grudge system for every single character. So depending on what character you play, you will get unique grudges at the start of the campaign that you need to deal with. So, for instance, Thorgrim Grudgebearer has the big brute grudge where he has to take out. You have to deal with the army of Grimgor's Ardboys, win 5 battles against them to punish Grimgor Ironhide, and for that you get the Rune of Flight, which we'll talk about in a little bit. There are tons of new runes. Then you have the Murderous Shadow Grudge, where you get revenge on Deathmaster Snitch for the bullshit he pulled in the end times. So you have to go after Deathmaster Snitch and take down the assassin himself. And then last is the Black Hold Grudge, where you have to right the wrongs that were done to King Vikram Ironside when he lost Karak and reclaim it in your name. Take Blackcrag back from the Greenskins, rename it to Karak, and you get the Master Rune of Valea. So, moving on from that, let's talk about the new rune system. So the new rune system, you still have all of the items you did previously. These 4 categories have not changed. However, there are now character runes. There are so many runes, and there are also banner runes, and these are almost all of the runes from the tabletop. Maybe with some few bonuses thrown in. I'm just going to go over all of them real quick. Now, the way this works is they only cost Oath Gold, and they're fairly easy to acquire. Whenever you forge them, you can forge them one time, and that's it. You're done. You cannot forge them multiple times. And depending on the rune, it will give you a certain number of them. For instance, if you forge the Rune of Iron, you would get 3 runes of iron immediately. But then you can never forge it again. And then you have to decide where to put them. So the Rune of Iron, the number here tells you how many you get. So the Rune of Iron gives plus 20 armor to a character. Rune of Parrying plus 7 melee defense. Rune of Fire is plus 35 damage, flaming attack. Rune of Fury is plus 3 melee attack, frenzy. Rune of Ward and Rune of Luck is 5% ward save. Rune of Might is plus 15 bonus versus large. Rune of Impact gives Dazed, which reduces speed and melee defense on attacks and plus 10 charge bonus. Rune of Shielding is 10% missile resistance. Rune of Cleaving is plus 20 armor piercing damage. Rune of Fear is lower enemy leadership by 3 and cause fear. Rune of Striking is 8% weapon strength. Master Rune of Passage is 25% bonus speed and Strider, which lets you move over all forms of terrain with no penalty. Master Rune of Grombrindal is plus 50 armor. Master Rune of Spite deals damage constantly over time as long as you're in melee, so you have a drain effect. Master Rune of Snorri Spengelhelm gives plus 25 melee attack. Master Rune of Alaric the Mad gives you a Rune Fang, essentially, so minus 75 base damage, but plus 75 AP damage. Master Rune of Adamant is plus 20% hit points. Master Rune of Scalf Blackhammer is plus 20% melee weapon strength. Master Rune of Flight gives you a magic missile that is super freaking fast and really, really painful, but you basically just throw... Essentially, you're throwing your weapon at them, but in reality, you kind of like fire a bolt. That is really, really... It's nice. It hits really hard. So those go on characters. And you'll see here that the dwarf characters are crazy looking now. They no longer have arcane... There's no arcane items for the dwarves, so they have character runes. So each one of these slots can hold a rune. So for instance, if you come in here and you're like, okay, I forged the Rune of Iron 3 times, and the only character you have is Thorgrim Grudgebearer, oh hey, you could put 3 runes of iron right here, but you can mix and match the runes as you wish. And you also have followers, runes, and banners. So these are where your runic banners go. So the runic banners, or the banner runes, are runes that can be equipped onto units instead of characters. So let's go over these real quick. Flaxen's Rune of Seeking can only be assigned on artillery units, and it gives those units bonus versus large and gives them homing in projectiles. Yes, you heard that correctly. Rune of Burning adds explosive damage that reduces enemy leadership, and I can confirm the shots do actually explode. They're like little bombs. But that's artillery only. Rune of Penetration, artillery only, gives armor-piercing missile damage and also increases penetration through unit models. Ancestor Rune can be applied to any unit. It gives them the Ancestor Rune ability, which makes them unbreakable when their health gets below 25%. Though it lasts for 25 seconds and also reduces their vigor loss reduction. Rune of Courage gives plus 15 charge bonus to a unit, immune to psychology. Strolaz's runes, plus 20% speed and Vanguard deployment to any unit. Rune of Stoicism is bonus versus large and melee and expert charge defense to any unit. Rune of Sanctuary is 15% physical resistance in a unit. Rune of Dismay is a constant passive that lowers speed, and charge bonus by 10%, and also has the unit cause fear. Rune of Battles plus 8 bonus versus infantry and melee. Master Rune of Grugni gives you a 10% ward save on that unit and also gives them 20% missile resistance, which they also give to all allies within 40 meters. Master Rune of Leia is 50% magic resistance and perfect vigor. Master Rune of Dwarf One-Eye causes the discourage effect, reducing leadership whenever you attack someone with that unit, and that unit also causes terror and fear when fighting greenskins. Master Rune of Disguise can only be equipped on artillery, but gives them 20% missile resistance, stalk, and snipe. So it's an invisible shooting artillery piece. The Master Rune of Thromny Redbeard gives a unit 8 melee attack, and the Master Rune, which gives 5 melee attack and 4 leadership to the unit, and also all units within 40 meters. And the Master Rune of Immolation gives plus 20% missile strength to an artillery unit, and makes it so that you can make it explode. So if your artillery piece gets surrounded, you just slap the panic button and watch it all go kaboom. Okay, we're not done yet. They've also reorganized the build tree, so I'm going to show you the building browser so you can appreciate how it's changed. The biggest things are that they've reorganized a number of assets. So now you no longer need the Hall of Oaths in order to get hammers and ironbreakers. Hammer and ironbreakers are now locked only behind the smithy. So once you have the Grombrindal Forge, you have hammers and ironbreakers. You no longer need multiple buildings to get them. Also, the Hall of Oaths has been made so that it purely is basically for Thanes. It does add hammers and ironbreakers to your garrison, but it gives you +1 Lord recruitment rank, +1 capacity for Thanes, and +3 recruitment rank for Thanes, instead of having anything to do with ironbreakers and stuff anymore, which I think is a good change. They've also changed the Siege Workshop so that you no longer need the Siege Workshop and the engineering building to make stuff. You need one, like if you get the engineering stuff, everything in the engineering stuff you get you just get it. Same thing for the Siege Workshop. Everything in the Siege Workshop, you just get it. So the Siege Workshop now has Bolt Throwers and Grudge Throwers at the bottom tier, Thunderers, Iron Drakes, and Cannons at the medium tier, or the tier 3, and then Iron Drake, Torpedoes, Organ Guns, and Flame Cannons at tier 4. Much nicer organized, and you can actually get siege weapons very, very quickly, especially since Quarrelers are in the regular melee tree, or the regular unit building now. So you get, so like if you want like gun infantry, you got to go up to the gunsmith forge, but you can get artillery at tier 2 now, which is such a godsend. The armory now is your most reliable place to get oath gold. You got your Slayer stuff here. The Tinker's Den now gives you the engineer and all of your copters. So if you want to build any copters, now you just need the engineering building. You no longer require the engineer building and the foundry, which is a fantastic change. Everything else here, I believe, is pretty much the same. Generating oath gold now is a little bit harder than it used to be because it's much more valuable. The only way to reliably generate oath gold is through buildings and accomplishing grudges. So the Rune Forge gives you oath gold per turn, and the Guild Marketplace gives you grudge per turn, or oath gold per turn. Nothing else does. Those are the only buildings that do that now. Though I think actually gold, like a gold building, does as well. So there is a new starting engineer, which is a character that is a reference to one of the developers, Tom Phillip, who's a absolutely wonderful dude. I'm super duper happy he was able to get this. I'm sure he's really honored. Engineers are very badass now. So what Tom Phillip gets is he starts with the double barrel item, so he has got 10% faster reload and 10% additional weapon strength. He also has a unique ability called the Engineer's Cipher, which gives him the extra powder passive, which makes it so that as long as his ammo is above 80%, he deals significantly more damage. He also improves your research rate by 10%, and he can use restock much more often. And that's right, you heard me, engineers now have restock. So it's no longer just the damn vampire counts, or vampire coast. The dwarf characters, the dwarf engineers, now can replenish ammunition to friendly units. Most of them can only do it 4 times, but this character is unique and he can do it 7 times. However, this is the new skill tree for the engineers. It looks beautiful. They have the flash bomb ability that Grombrindal had, which is fantastic on them. So they can throw down a flash bomb anywhere on enemies within 75 meters to lower their melee defense and make them way slower. You also have their new trees, so you have Break Open the Cask, which lets you use restock faster and more often. Requisition, which is the more ammo. Triangulation, which is more damage. Overseer, which is higher leadership aura. Sapper, which is move faster. And then the Zufbar 42 Pounders! So you get the army ability that the Vampire Coast has to shoot the battlefield with cannons, except for the dwarves can actually upgrade it so that they're able to get additional uses. Beyond that, they're unique trees. You have to pick one or the other. You can either choose Deadeye or you can choose Grudge Raker. So you can either choose to be a melee-centric beat stick with a shotgun, or you could be a hardcore ranged sniper. So if you go Deadeye, you get plus 15% range. You get plus 20% missile strength. You get Bear Essentials, which lowers your armor significantly, but gives you 20% bonus speed and stalk, so you can sneak around the battlefield. You also get Ballistics Calibration to buff all of your nearby units, especially if you're hiding in an artillery line. And the Barak Va Handshake, which gives you the Sharpshooter ammunition, which significantly increases your range and gives you anti-infantry on your gun. Or you can go with the Grudge Raker, which is a shotgun that decreases your range down to 55, but gives you significantly more projectiles per shot because you have a shotgun. You get Carry a Big Stick, which can give you makes you cause fear and get Vanguard deployment. Percussive Maintenance, which can improve your hit points and melee defense significantly. Technical Enhancements, which increases your armor and armor-piercing melee damage significantly. And then Cinder Blast Shell, which is a big blast that you're able to throw at people within 200 meters that explodes on contact and does a lot of damage. Beautiful. I absolutely love the new engineer. They're absolutely fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And there's still so much more to show, so let's keep moving. On to the next dwarf. As far as changes to characters are concerned, I believe all the characters have received slight adjustments. So whenever Thorgrim, all of them receive faction changes. So Thorgrim Grudgebearer now has Age of Retribution. 15% upkeep reduction for Longbeards and Hammerers, plus 3 recruitment rank for Hammerers, plus 20 diplomacy with all Dwarfs. Whenever he accomplishes a grudge, he has a chance to get bonus rewards that are random, and all of his commandments are more powerful. So whenever you do his commandments now, his effects are essentially doubled, and that's before you buff them in the tree. As High King, he got this beautiful new trait which increases his aura size by 75%, gives 15% physical resistance to all hammerers, and also gives Guardian for all hammerers in his army. So the King Guard now actually protect the High King. Alright guys, and welcome back, and now we are looking at Grombrindal. You can see he still starts with Tom Phillipson, but you'll notice that his grudges are different. So where Thorgrim had beef to settle with Grimgor Ironhide, Deathmaster Snitch, and taking back Blackcrag, if you're playing as Grombrindal, you deal with older issues in the Dawi Empire. So first you have the Brightstone Grudge, which has you needing to retake Mount Gunbad from the Night Goblins, so you can mine Brindraz, which will give you the Master Rune of Stromny Redbeard for free. There's also capture Mount Silver Spear, which was taken by the Greenskins a long time ago, and that'll give you the Master Rune of Immolation. Unfinished Business Grudge, which is against the High Elves. So Grombrindal has not forgiven the Elves for their treachery during the War of Vengeance, and he wants you to beat the snot out of some Elves. And he'll give you the Master Rune of Alaric the Mad, and then my favorite one, Snorri Whitebeard's final grudge. Revenge against Malekith. So you have to go after the Dark Elves and beat the snot out of them and get revenge for Snorri Whitebeard, who of course is Grombrindal, and you'll get the Master Rune of Spite as your reward, which those are fantastic rewards, because you get these Master Runes in addition to the ones you forge, so you could double up on some really, really nice runes. As for what's changed about Grombrindal himself, his new faction traits are Legendary Warrior, which is evasion chance is plus 60% when using the Underway, and plus 20% weapon strength when fighting against elves. Oh, please just move Grombrindal to Nagaroth. Come on, CA. Move Grombrindal to Nagaroth. You're giving him all the anti-elf stuff. I want to go punch elves in the face. For his unique traits, he's got the plus 50% reinforcement range and plus 10 leadership to all units in his army, which makes them pretty serious. And then his he received an update to his tree. Oh, I did want to note, Oath Forging has been changed. So Oath Forging in the prior build used to make it where you just got like flat Oath Gold every turn. It no longer does that. Now the Oath of Forging improves Oath Gold production from local buildings. So they are encouraging dwarves to play a little bit more castle doctrine, you know, on their standing their ground in their Karaks to build up lots of Oath Gold. So let's look at his unique traits. So you have Mountain Strider, which gives you plus 15% campaign movement, and Strider in combat, which lets you move super fast over all forms of terrain. The Mighty Beard of Defense, which gives plus 10 AP to all units when defending, and plus 10 melee defense to all units when defending. Mythical Longevity, which reduces vigor loss reduction for Grombrindal by 50% and improves his wound recovery time by 3 turns. Rouse the Engineers, which gives you plus 20% missile strength for all Iron Drakes and War Machines, plus 33% ammunition, and plus 12 melee defense. Fantastic. Grimnir's Resolve, which takes your ability Grombrindal Has No Fear, and not only makes it 50% faster to use, but gives you plus 4 additional uses, so you can use it 5 times! And then last is the Age of Vengeance, which replaces 6 base weapon damage in your army with 6 armor piercing, and improves the speed of all dwarfs in your army by 35%. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, he kicks ass now. They just need to move him to Nagaroth. Alright, that's going to be it for Grombrindal. Let's move on. Alright guys, welcome to the Belegar campaign, and dare I say it, Belegar is actually really good now. Like, he's really fun. Way more fun than he used to be, because they finally fixed him. So first thing to look at is his new faction trait. You have the Angrind Ancestry, which gives you the upkeep penalty still. Actually, I don't think this has changed at all, but you know, have your leadership and stuff. But what they did change is his starting trait, The True King of Kazrak 8 Peaks now gives you Siege Attacker, which of course you already had. Vanguard deployment during underway battles, faction-wide, great. 10% leadership, or 10 leadership when fighting Greeks and Skaven, great. But, most notably, it gives you the Mighty Oathstone right at the beginning of your campaign, which I don't think used to be the case. I think you used to have to purchase it. Now you get it right at the start, which is awesome. But then check this out, dude. His new skill tree. So first you have Rally the Holds, plus 40 diplomacy with all dwarfs, and -1 recruitment duration for all units when using global recruitment. Gather the Old Clans, plus 2 recruit rank for all units in Belegar's army, plus 2 capacity in the local province. Oaths of Reclamation, an additional 50% oath gold from local province, 8 leadership in foreign territory, and plus 12 charge bonus to his entire army. Then you have Tunnel Warfare, plus 200% ammunition on miners, 20% weapons missile strength on rangers and bolt throwers, and then plus 5 melee defense and melee attack for all rangers, bolt throwers, and miners. Ancient Guidance, which gives 10% physical resistance to your entire army, allows you to recruit Thanes anywhere and gives you plus 2 recruitment slots for Thanes. And then Age of Reconquest, which I love. 10% campaign, 10% faster campaign movement, minus 50% construction time for settlement buildings globally, and the Shattering Aura during siege battles. So if Belegar is defending or attacking in a siege, he gives minus 12 leadership to enemy units. Amazing. Amazing. Just so fun. And of course, all of the improvements to the various trees really helps him out a lot. And his unique grudges are fantastic. So obviously you've got the Kazrak 8 Peaks grudge, but he also starts with the following. So you've got these the Perfidious Sneak grudge, which is against Skarsnik. If you beat up Skarsnik, you get the Master Rune of Spite after you beat 5 battles against him. The Dragonback grudge, which they want you to reclaim Ekrund, which is, you know, on the way, so that makes sense. And then the Mad Rodent grudge to defeat none other than Queek Headtaker and defeat Clan Moors to just get some sexy oath gold. So very thematic grudges. And now this is an opportunity to show you something very exciting. I don't think... yes, Thanes have changed. That's right, Thanes have changed. So Thanes are better now, significantly better. They now have a unique ability you can pick at rank 12, and you have the following options. You can take the Keeper of the Gate. Vigor loss reduction for Hammerers, gives the Thane the Guardian passive, and also gives him expert charge defense. Iron Beard, which gives you 75% fire resistance. All of your attacks grant the Flammable debuff, and you get plus 50% ammunition to all your fire units, your fire melee units, or infantry units, so Iron Drakes, Iron Breakers, and Miners. And then you can have Wanderer, which gives Snipe for Ranger units in your army, and gives the Thane Vanguard deployment and Stalk. So you can actually put a good character out there to help defend your guys. And then it's time. Rune Magic. Oh, Rune Magic. I'm going to be playing the Dwarf campaign first, so I'm not really going to get super into this because everyone and their mother's going to be covering it. But you have a legit rune lore now. It does not cost Winds of Magic. Basically, whenever you cast an ability, it puts all of your spells on cooldown. So you have like a global cooldown, which is the first number, which is the 60 seconds. And then the rune itself will be on cooldown for 120 seconds. But obviously, if you do this, you can get shorter cooldowns. Though, if you overcast a rune, you give yourself longer cooldowns as kind of the trade-off. So you see there, the cooldown is only 102 seconds instead of 120. But the new runes are, you have the Rune of Speed, which you can cast on a single unit, and it grants them 24 melee attack and 45% speed. If you overcast it, it lasts longer. The Rune of Oath and Steel gives 30 armor to everyone within 40 meters of a spot you pick on the ground. If you upgrade it, it does 60 armor instead. Rune of Wrath and Ruin does damage, no longer slows, it has nothing to do with slowing. It's literally an explosion that does sexy damage. If you overcast it, it does more damage. Dampening is still the same. The Rune of Slowness has now been added to the rune lore, and the Rune of Slowness gives minus 40% charge bonus, 45% charge speed, and 45% speed. Beautifully sexy. You can overcast it to last longer, so 45 seconds instead of 30, and it slows them even more. Forge Fire is now much better. Instead of buffing a percentage of nearby units' AP damage, now it just flatly reduces nearby enemy armor by 15. The Rune of Breaking, you put on a friendly unit, and it gives them plus 25% armor piercing and base damage, and also gives them the Sundering Armor passive. So they knock enemy armor off as they're swinging. If you overcast it, it lasts longer. And then last is the Rune of Negation, which is a single target spell you cast on a unit, and it gives them 40% damage resistance. You can upgrade it to last for a longer amount of time. The Rune of Hearth and Home makes units locally immune to psychology. Ward Breaker lowers enemy magic resistance and missile resistance by 10%, which is amazing. And then Strike the Runes lowers the cooldown. It's fucking incredible. There's no other word I can use but fucking incredible. Master of the Forge, as we talked about, no longer just grants you oath gold, it just makes it faster to forge it. And then you have a new army ability. So you can actually unlock new heroic actions for your runesmith. You can either choose to sharpen weapons, which improves your missile and melee damage by a percentage, or you can harden armor, which improves armor by a percentage. You can only do one or the other, but you can take like harden armor, and then when you join an army, you can do that now. So that's really cool. I would like them to add that globally to all sorts of heroes. The ability to select options besides just the blue tree option is really cool. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so kick-ass. All right, let's go check in on another. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. All right, folks, and welcome to Ungrim Ironfist, who, like everyone else, has his own unique grudges. So you have the Swollen Pest Grudge, which is to go up against Throgg the Unclean and defeat the Master Mutator's armies 5 times. The Red Eye Grudge, which is to capture Red Eye Mountain. You get the Master Rune of Passage for that. Capture and occupy the Silver Pinnacle. So go deal with the Lamian vampires and steal their home that they stole from your people to get the Master Rune of Stromny Redbeard. And then the Haunted Hold Grudge, which the Demons of Chaos long ago just flooded through Karak Vlag and wiped it out. And you need to go claim the ruins, and you get the Master Rune of Snorri Spanglehelm for that. Ungrim, I don't believe, has had significant changes, but just in case, I'll kind of mouse over everything. 75% construction cost for Slayer buildings, 50% recruitment cost reduction for Slayer units, 10% movement speed for infantry units. Slayer King gives you Journey's End for all Slayers, which I believe significantly improves their... What is Journey's End? Journey's End is the... Units cannot die. Okay, as long as their hit points are above 75%, right? Plus 5 melee attack for Slayers and plus 25% upkeep reduction for Slayers. And then I don't believe anything else here has changed significantly. Nope, all looks normal. All right, so now it's time to go to somewhere really new. Hello, everyone, and he's here! Thorgrim Ironbrow is here! Probably the most requested dwarf character, in my opinion. Just, oh man, I'm so excited to see Thorgrim. He looks wonderful. On we go. He's angry. Tried and tested. And he's here to bring rune magic and squander his hammer on some people's faces. So, Thorgrim, I'm trying to keep this short, so I'm gonna be playing with him, obviously, quite a bit. So I'm not going to focus too much on everything. I'm just going to go over the absolute basics. So the biggest thing is that Thorgrim Ironbrow has the ability to take jungle settlements. He's very, very good at getting Oath Gold because he gets it much faster. He gets massive ranks for recruiting runesmiths, lower upkeep, and his runes are much, much cheaper to forge. For his personal traits, he gives plus 3 armor piercing to all units in his army. He gets plus 10 armor to everyone in his army, and bolt throwers, grudge throwers, and quarrelers reload faster. He also starts with Craggy, his assistant at the forge, as he should, which gives reduces his chance to miscast when overcasting runes. And then he starts with the Rune of Stoicism and the Rune of Burning, because, you know, Thorgrim's just awesome like that. Here's his skill tree. As you can see, he has a slightly enhanced version of the runes as he gets them much faster, which is very similar to the regular Rune Lord. But then he has his Anvil of Doom, which the Anvil of Doom is actually really, really good now. Thorgrim's Anvil of Doom in particular does give him a unique, you can kind of see it pop up there, but it gives him a unique rune spell because his Anvil of Doom is very unique, and I believe it makes everyone in his army cause fear. Then he's got Veteran Anvil Guard, which improves his melee defense and melee attack because it represents the little dudes guarding it. The Loremaster, which lowers miscast chance and cooldown reduction. And then Greater Locus of Power. So one thing that the Anvil of Doom does is now that it's, you know, actually good. And so what the Anvil of Doom does is instead of giving your army magic resistance, which they don't really need, the Anvil of Doom now gives all enemies on the map a guaranteed chance to suffer a minor miscast. And if you upgrade it to the Greater Locus of Power... or wait, no, I don't think it's, sorry, it's not map wide. I think it's local. Yes, I think it's like 100 meters. But, it makes enemies, guaranteed to miscast if they're in range. Greater Locus of Power, I think, makes it happen faster. I'd have to double check it. But, his unique, traits... You can get Fiery Temper, which makes you able to cast Master Rune of Wrath and Rune faster and cause fear. Exacting Standards, which improves success chance for runesmiths on heroic actions. Gives you the Master Rune of Thromni Redbeard as a passive for all runesmiths in your army. And also reduces the cooldown for rune magic for all characters in your army. So you actually want to run runesmiths in his army. It's hilarious. Ornery Overseer gives you even more Oath Gold and makes constructing buildings cheaper and faster. Runic Talismans gives Thorgrim Ironbrow the Master Rune of Spite and the Master Rune of Grugni for free, so they don't take up runic slots and you have those passives, so you can just stack an obscene amount of runic buffs on Thorgrim. It also gives them a 5% ward save. Proven Tools gives plus 50% armor piercing damage for Quarrelers. The Rune of Burning is automatically applied to all bolt throwers, and the Rune of Seeking, which is anti-large projectiles that also are slightly home in, like they don't super home in, but they moderately home in, is applied to grudge throwers. And then Runic Production Lines gives you plus 7 charge bonus and Frenzy to all units in your army. Last, these are his items. Clad Brakak is your hammer. When it's equipped, you deal Sundering attacks and Frenzy, and you also functionally get Urian's Thunderbolt as a bound spell, or as an ability. And then you have Thorgrim's Rune Armor, which gives you 15% fire resistance, 15% magic resistance, 15 armor, and Thorgrim's Rune Armor, which gives you a plus 15 armor and plus 10% fire resistance to all allies within 40 meters. And then lastly, he has a unique passive called Master of the Ancient Lore, which might be on regular Rune Lords as well. We'll check in a second. Which makes it so that if you're engaged in melee, every 20 seconds you're able to get your runes unlocked faster. So they do want your Rune Lords fighting in combat. We can actually just grab a Rune Lord right here and check some stuff. So for the regular Rune Lord... Oh no, so they do not have the buffs to the Anvil of Doom. So that is unique to Thorgrim. His Anvil of Doom can be upgraded. However, they do have this, and they do not have the fight in close combat ability. So yeah, Thorgrim is substantially better. As for how Thorgrim plays, I really don't have a lot of time to get into that right now. The big thing is that you functionally need to go to explore the world and find settlements that have these little icons where various runic pieces of the Ancestor God's legendary artifacts have been contained. Once you collect both sides of a legendary artifact, you then have the ability to reforge them into a legendary artifact of the Ancestor Gods, and it gives you a cool ability. So if you acquire the Hero's Pendant and the Chain of Binding, for instance, you can forge the Keepsake of Gazul's Favored, which lets you summon Hans Valhirson as a unique hero. That's also an ethereal ghost. If you get the Spark Gem and the Dwarfen Neck Yoke, you get the Raton's Collar Bestial Control, which gives you a Yoked Carnosaur, which is an unbreakable Carnosaur. Morghur's Gears of War. You can pause this if you want to look at any of these in depth. Spendir's Metallurgic Cipher. Thugni's Tongs of the Runesmith. The Beard Rings of Grimnir, which gives you an army ability that lets you summon a vortex that deals a lot of damage. Blessed Pick of Grugni allows you to pick an area of effect that makes all units invulnerable to damage, unbreakable, and plus 24 melee attack. And the Ancestral Rune of Valaya, you pick an area on the ground and it heals a ton of HP and restores them to full vigor. And these items are scattered around the world. So anywhere you see this runic script on the Fog of War, that's where one of these items is contained. And you can also see that you start in Karak Zorn, and over here is Karak Azul, which you have contact with, which is fantastic. On the Vortex map, he starts in the spine of Sotek Mountains, so he starts a little bit west of Lord Skrolk. Once again, we'll cover that more in the future. Hey guys, just wanted to grab some brief footage of some new unique structures that I've noticed kind of scattered around the place. One of them is that if you're actually playing as Thorgrim Ironbrow, they did add in the Lost Underway Junction, which is actually a Carrick 8 Peaks structure, but you can actually get it in the Vortex campaign if you take the Mine of Bearded Skulls. So that's one. And I found the unique building I really wanted to show off, which is Ironbrow's Weapons Shops. So Thorgrim Ironbrow brings his own unique building to Karak Azul, which I'm so excited about. It's actually fairly easy to get because you get a Confederation mission on like turn 2 for Karak Azul. But this building gives you 2 Oath Gold per turn, unlocks Runesmith requirement, which you're probably going to have forges anyway, but plus 1 capacity for Runesmiths, plus 3 recruitment rank for Runesmiths faction wide, minus 10% upkeep for Runesmiths, minus 10% recruitment cost, and then plus 5% weapon strength and plus 10 armor for dwarf unit. It's specifically like sword and board units. Dwarf units with hand weapons and dwarf shields. So that's not great weapons. That's very specific. But this is a really cool thematic little building to have added, and the best part is that it, of course, is available for all the dwarf factions that take Karak Azul and team up with King Cazador or, kick him out. For now, that's going to be it on the dwarves because we're really running on time, so we got to go. So I'm just going to be showcasing the changes to the Beastmen Legendary Lords. I know you're going to want to see everything about the Beastmen campaign, but by the time this video goes live, I'm already going to be live streaming a Malagor campaign, because that's what the people voted for. So we will go over all the changes to their campaigns there. For this video, I'm just going to focus on the changes to the Legendary Lords. So starting with Morghur the Shadowgave, Beastmen have been changed so that they no longer have to pay recruitment costs or upkeep for units, just like the Tomb Kings. They're exactly like the Tomb Kings. Instead, you have to perform other systems to increase your capacity for recruiting units. So Morghur, as the Chaos Spawn character, gets 4 additional capacity for Chaos Spawn, so he can have a lot more Chaos Spawn quicker. He also gets casualty replenishment to all armies of 8%, 15% cheaper Horde building construction faction-wide, and all characters do additional Chaos Corruption. As for his unique skills, Morghur has the Ardor of Fury, which basically gives everyone in his army Primal Fury, which that may not sound good, but you have to really think about it, and it's actually really good. Primal Fury is only on regular Beastmen, but with this, you get it on your Chaos Spawn, which never lose it because they're unbreakable, so they get all those bonuses forever, but it also applies to all the units in your army. Then you have the Abstraction of Tzeentch, which increases the damage over time ability that the Jabberslice do. I can't talk a lot about them right now, but they have a damage over time thing when they're in combat. This makes it stronger. This also gives you horrible regeneration for Chaos Spawn, which horrible regeneration on Chaos Spawn means that not only do they regenerate, but also if they're missing unit models, they resurrect, which is hilarious. You also get plus 8 melee defense and plus 15% weapon strength for Centaur's Chaos Spawn Jabberslice. Force for Change gives you an additional 33% attrition damage from Despoiler, which basically Despoiler is that Malagor has a unique rating stance that I'll show you in a second, and his unique rating stance makes it where he deals attrition damage to anyone in the same province as him while he's in the raid stance, which is amazing, and this makes it just deal additional damage. He also has 20% bonus income from raiding. Herald of Corruption lets him move 15% faster on the campaign map and +3 corruption to all adjacent provinces. Profane Blessings is just like Throgg's thing, where it gives him unique side dudes, which I'll show you in a minute. And then Touch of Corruption is a buff that makes it where Morghur deals damage over time instead of just regular poison, which is pretty sexy and a nice buff. So there's going to be a brief kind of flash to black here, and then I'll show you the Profane Blessings. Welcome back, guys. And so for Morghurs and Silleries that are unique, you basically get all of the Dark Gods except Khorne, because Khorne cares more about a different Beastman. So you have the Blessing of Filth is the first one you get. Blessing of Filth gives horrible regeneration to a unit, which horrible regeneration, once more, is regen that also resurrects dead models. It also gives 15% physical resistance to them, but slows their speed by 30%, which all of these come with a bonus and a negative, because, you know, chaos. Blessing of Mania gives the unit you put it on plus 20% charge, plus 45% speed, but they suffer from Rampage when they lose enough health. And Blessing of Trickery lowers your armor by 30 on the unit you give it to, but it gives them Sundering attacks, Stalk, and Unspottable. Absolutely amazing and beautiful. Let's move on. Alright, welcome back, guys, and let's take a quick look at Kazrak the One-Eye. So Kazrak, with the Scourge of the Drakkwald, now has reduced cost, or Dread cost, for upgrading unit capacity. Dread, TLDR, and you'll see this on my live stream, is a new resource, the Beastmen build, that allows them to buy upgrades, and also allows them to increase the unit capacity for all of their different units. For Kazrak, he gets it much cheaper to upgrade all the different kinds of units. He also has higher ambush success chance for all armies, and higher evasion chance when using the Beast Paths for all armies. For his personal trait, the One-Eye, the Bestial Rage, which is the meter over here, it used to be that when you maxed it out, it would summon another army. It no longer does that. Now it just gives you some really sexy buffs. But you take penalties to it when you're in the Well-Hidden Encampment stance. But for Kazrak, he takes a significantly less penalty. You also get Vanguard deployment for all Razorgore chariots and Bestigore units, which is fantastic. And all Ungors in Kazrak's army have poisoned attacks, and that includes Ungor archers' ranged attacks. As for the change to his skill tree, he can now ride on a Tuskgore chariot, as can all Beastmen characters that had access to chariots. The Tuskgore chariot is a cheaper and faster option you get earlier. For his personal tree, he's got Bestial Cunning, which gives him +4 melee attack and melee defense during ambushes for his entire army, and also gives him another 15% success chance on ambushing. Underhoof, which gives +50% reinforcement range to all characters. So Beastmen are actually, with under Kazrak, they're actually pretty scary when it comes to being able to have multiple armies running around, especially since they don't cost upkeep anymore. Also, if you're ever using if anyone ever tries to use the Underway Beast Path of Wordwards to escape you, you have a 20% higher chance to catch them. Hordes of the Drakkwald gives plus melee attack charge bonus to all Ungor, Gore, and Bestigore units, and also gives plus 15% missile strength to Ungor Raiders. Houndmaster gives you plus 10 charge bonus for Warhounds, Razorgore Hordes, and Harpies, and also gives them plus 10 bonus versus infantry. Manslayer gives you plus 15% magic item drop chance, plus 15% chance of stealing a magic item, and also lets you cause fear and terror, or your army causes fear against humans, but Kazrak himself causes terror against humans. And then Feral Fervor gives Stalk to all Gores, Bestigores, Chaos Warhounds, Razorgore Hordes, and Harpies, because why not? Hilarious. 33% vigor loss reduction, and Strider for your entire army. So just super fast. And that is going to be it. That's going to be everything we're covering right now. All the new Beastmen rework stuff I'm going to be talking about in the live stream, which I will upload here on YouTube once it is finished. I'm not even going to break it up. It'll just be like a big fat video that gets dropped. So be sure to check that out. I thank you all so much for watching. This probably missed some stuff. There will be more details as much as I can find them coming out. If I need to make a secondary video with stuff I missed, I will. But I love your faces. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you for... If by the time you're watching this, I've probably already been live streaming for a while, and you're probably dual watching it or watching this afterwards. But in which case, be sure to come check out the Malagor stream. www.twitch.tv/Loremaster of Sotek, and it'll also be uploaded here on YouTube after it's over. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time. Bye!